Hey everybody, it's Andrew here with Bike Ariously, and today's video we're going to talk about the Maxxis WT tires. So I'm getting ready to replace my front tire, and I just kind of wanted to go over my experience with the WT tires from Maxxis, how they've worked for me, some differences between the WT and the non-WT, and also some specs in terms of width, what kind of rim I'm using, and etc. So let's get at it and let's take a look at these tires. So probably since about midsummer last year, I switched back over to Maxxis from Schwalbe just to try something different. I ran the Minion DHF and the 2.5WT in the 29er wheel size, and in the back I ran the Aggressor, but currently I'm running the 2.4WT in the DHR2 for Maxxis. Now, kind of what the acronyms are is DHF is downhill front and the rear is downhill rear. Now, back in the old days they have said that F could stand for free ride and R could stand for, I don't know, rear, I don't know. So there's been some debates on what they actually stand for, but it has been known that the DHR2 has been designed as a rear tire, but has also been a popular choice as a front tire, and actually is what I'm going to be switching to. So let's take a look at the DHF. So this tire measures at approximately, if we look at the caliper here, at the widest knob, which is going to be the square knobs, not the L-shaped knobs, you're looking at about 66 millimeters. So that measures out just actually a little bit more than 2.5 inches. So pretty true to size. Maxxis typically has had issues with having overshot their tire width, but the new WT tires seem to be holding up to that. So in the DHR2, we're going to also measure the widest point. Again, the square blocks, not the L-shaped blocks. You're looking at about 62, which measures just about over 2.4 inches. So pretty true to size in that regards as well. I have these mounted on 30.5 millimeter internal width rims, the Industry 9s, and they do actually have a pretty different profile to each. Even though it's just the 2.5 to the 2.4, the DHR2 actually has more of a square profile. So square, typically you're going to be more softer, loamy conditions. It really kind of cuts and digs into there. The 2.5 WT has more of a rounder profile on my rim, which is good for more hard pack, more smooth hard pack surfaces. So I wanted to try more of a square tire up front, so that's why I am trying the 2.4 WT and the DHR2. Now the DHF has provided really good grip. They have been notorious to have kind of a weird transfer zone. So as you can see on the DHF, it's what's called an open channel design. So the tires between the center knobs and the side knobs have an open channel, so there's a weird transitioning zone when you go and lean the tire over. Now the new tires, they have gotten rid of that a little bit, mostly because the knobs are bigger than the old DHF and DHR2. So the transition zone isn't too bad, but it's still there a little bit. I personally struggle with front end feel and grip, so that's kind of why I'm wanting to try something different. It's not as bad as the older tires, but it's still there a little bit. So, but when you get in really soft conditions where there's kind of just a lot of dirt, it's not so hard, you don't feel it quite as much, but definitely on hard pack surfaces you do. The DHR is sort of an open channel. You've got these knobs here that kind of protrude over kind of intermediate into the channel. So if you would have gotten rid of those knobs, it would have been an open channel design. But because of how long they are, they kind of fill that void and it's supposed to get rid of that kind of weird, vague transition zone. And that's what I'm looking for. I want a consistent feel when I'm really leaning the bike over. Now, there are a lot of guys that like to take these knobs and cut the edges off, or even shave off the L block a little bit to give more of an open channel feel. I don't typically like to mess with cutting my own tires, so I'm going to give it a shot before I mess with that at all. But overall, the tires have been great. The DHR2 is a braking monster. It's got these really big square edge blocks on here that really, when you put the brakes on, it hooks up and just wants to stop. The DHF isn't a bad braking tire either, but if you like to run steep, loose, loamy conditions, that DHR2 is going to be one of the best. So I'm going to give you a good profile pic so you can kind of see how the DHF is more rounded. Again, this is on the 30.5mm rim, and the DHR2 is definitely more square, definitely more narrow, but still it's more of a square profile. So when you lean it over, you're kind of leaning it right over onto those knobs and not having any of that weird transition zone. Now, when the WT tires first came out, I believe Maxxis stated that they were designed for a 35mm rim. It wasn't until about a year after they were released, they started marketing them as 30 to 35mm recommendations. Now, in my opinion, I think if I had a 35mm rim inner width, the DHF would probably square up a little bit better, become a little bit wider, and I think would really be the tire that I'd want. Of course, I don't have the money to just go spend on a wider rim, and Industry 9 doesn't make kind of an all-mountain wide rim, so I'm going to just try a different tire. But I believe if you did ran 35mm inner width rim, the DHF would have more of a squarer profile than it does on my rim. So in terms of performance, they hook up really good. The DHR2 is quite a bit slower than a lot of other tires. The Aggressor I had on before was definitely a lot faster, but I don't chase those climbing PRs, so for me that's fine. It's a very rollable tire in terms of just getting you up the hill, but if you enjoy going downhill, there really is no comparison between like an Aggressor and the DHR2 in terms of giving you that confidence of the rear end just hooking up, and also braking as well. The tires I ran before this were Schwalbe, so I had the Magic Mary up front, which I really liked. And again, the Magic Mary on a wider rim definitely had a more square profile than this DHF did. Kind of had that intermediate channel knob in there as well. What I didn't like about it though is because it was kind of more designed for narrower rims and we're putting them on these wider rims now, the casing of the tire definitely would stick out wider than the knobs, which you don't really want that, because then you risk hitting it on rocks, cutting the sidewall, and if I'm honest, I don't think snakeskin is quite as tough as the EXO. So I wanted to try the Maxxis, and overall I couldn't be more satisfied. I'm just searching for just a little bit different performance to see if I get that, and so I have the new DHR2. This is the Max Terra. So it's right before their super tacky. That I'm going to be installing on the front, and I'll be giving my impressions on that as well. So they come in all shapes and sizes. 27.5. They're really good at supporting 26-inch, 29 obviously. So I'll put a link to Maxxis' website to see if they have the size and compound combination that you prefer. And if you have any other further questions on how they ride, or my tire experiences, again, I've been on Schwalbe, Panaracer, Maxxis, so just let me know. But other than that, I just wanted to show you the tires that I'm going to, my experiences with the WT tires, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.